super excited today to be joined by Bryan, who owns a mobile detailing company here in Murrieta, California. Welcome.
Thank you.
And he's been in business for over 3 years and has a growing team. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about that and help give some tips for people who are looking to grow their team or refine their team even. But welcome, Bryan. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So tell our viewers a little background in a nutshell about how you started your company.
Absolutely. So BTR Detailing started, like most businesses do, as a passion project.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working on cars and flipping cars while I was working for another establishment. And that was what I was doing on my off days.
Yeah.
And when I parted ways from that job, I was like, I should just see how I can turn my passion, what I was doing on my weekends, do it for a living. And
Your side hustle
so
turned full hustle.
side hustle turned
Yeah.
full hustle. So
Yes.
that was kind of how it initially kicked off. And, you know, I always aspired to be a business owner. And so it was kind of something I wanted to, I wanted to work towards. And
Yeah.
my passion for cars just made it a pretty clear pathway for me to be like, this is how I can be a business owner. And this is how I can work with cars. And that was pretty much the two key things that led me in this direction. Yeah.
And so you've been in business now 3 years. So
3 years.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what were your goals when you started this business?
Good question. So some of my goals were really, ultimately going back to being a business owner, that was the main first goal that really drove me to start the business.
Yeah.
And when I kind of got into business, I just wanted to be able to service, I believed in what I was able to do was a good quality service. And I wanted to service as many people in the Temecula, Murrieta, Valley as I could, with, my products and service, So I stand by them. I'm always a firm believer in, vehicles being such a large investment for the average person and how important they are to take
Especially
care of
now.
them.
Yes.
So that kind of was a big driving factor. And it's like driving down the road and seeing, tens of thousands of cars from my commute from home to work and,
Yes. Like there's so
every
much
single
business
day.
to be had.
Absolutely. And
awesome.
going and then being
Yeah.
like, yeah, these are some expensive investment. Cars they are an expensive investment and you just have to take care of those, And so that was kind of my thing is like, how can I help more people take care of them? And that was, definitely one of the goals I wanted to set was, help as many people take care of their investments as they can.
Well, and I had said earlier in the interview that it was mobile detailing, but that's how it started. But now you have an actual physical location. So talk to us about, what was the decision-making process in going from that to adding on this next level or scaling to having your own site?
Absolutely. So it started mobile, and I always, my business partner now currently actually had a shop. And so I saw what he was doing in the shop, and he let me kind of partner in that shop when he first got it to flip cars. That's kind of initially what I was doing. I was just buying cars, I was cleaning them up and reselling them. And so when I started my mobile detailing business and I started mobile, I go, I could actually do some of this work in the shop. So I go, when we get a bigger shop where we both can work out of, if the opportunity presents itself, I would love to give myself in the shop. So realizing being mobile, it's great for if you find what exact package and that you're able to accomplish with mobile. There is some things that when you're doing, large paint corrections and ceramic coatings, which is protection level, and these are anywhere between 10 to 15 hours with the vehicle. And it becomes a little less of a convenience for the client, a little bit more of quality first. And so that is kind of like, well, we want to make sure, how do we get best quality? We can control all environments. If we come to our own space, which is and we can better hone down quality control. And so that was like the big thing was, I can do a lot mobile, but I am limited on everything I can do. And now because we are both mobile and that we, are considered a full service auto detailing company, so we can do everything.
Did you find that, getting this space to be able to do these larger projects that take more time, did you find that getting that space, you created a vacuum and now you're essentially having to fill that space and time with more of those kinds of clients, or maybe more, you're getting more clients now that you have to fill that space?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's you know, being in California, the expense of a industrial unit is not cheap, and so it
Mm-hmm.
was definitely when I first started and moved into a physical location and and having a brick and mortar, it was go time.
Yes.
Gotta definitely hammer down. And
Bring in the
I didn't
business.
want
Yep.
to just my whole thing was I didn't want to just use it as a storage unit to
Mhm.
store my mobile vehicles
Sure.
because why?
Right.
What's the point? So I wanted to be able to use the facility, to make money out of it.
Mhm.
Um, and so that was the driving factor. And now that we've been there for over a year, this one location,
Mhm.
um, we have been able to. The tides have changed a little bit, and it's being filled up more, and we're getting more business that we would have never gotten
Yeah.
if we just stayed mobile.
Mhm.
So it definitely did take a little while to fill up, but now it, it's we're probably doing more in the shop. We're probably 60-40. So we're doing
Mm.
60% in the shop, 40% mobile.
Yeah. The law of
So
the vacuum, right? You
yeah,
create the space, you got to fill it.
absolutely. Create a space, got to fill it.
So we talked a little bit before we started the interview about some of the expansion that you are in the process of
Hmm.
going through. So, your goal in the beginning was you wanted to be a business owner. You knew what your passion was, and so you started this business. So, what are your goals now, and how have they changed since when you started?
Absolutely. So I would say right now it's getting to a point where I can take a step back from the business. I have other passions in line that I want to pursue, and
Mm-hmm.
but I still want it to be able to maintain and run itself without me necessarily being as hands on as I am.
Yeah.
I'm still in the infancy of my business, as some may say, and they typically say the third year, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the year it really hits off, and I'm in that.
Yeah.
So I'm still, very much, 60 to 80 hours,
Mm.
like most people when they start their business,
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting to that point where I can, it's more maintainable,
Yeah.
it's more sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I also know, my goals have changed. It was initially to, you know, I wanted to do the most amount of cars in one day and
Mm-hmm.
service the most amount of people that I physically could.
Yeah.
And now it's, I want to, give back to my community by,
Mm-hmm.
not only giving a great quality service, but also by employing people
Mm-hmm.
who then I'm helping them out and
Yeah.
they can help more people. And now we've gone from me doing the max amount of cars I physically could do in one day
Mm-hmm.
to now we're doing three times that because
Yeah.
we have the three times staff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely been big change of pace of realizing that I can only be in one place at one time, and
Yeah.
as good as I like to think I am, you know, it's my ultimate goal I think has shifted to helping as many people service their vehicle as possible
Mm-hmm.
and maintain that investment that they have.
Yeah.
I think it's still the underlying goal is there, but
Mm-hmm.
now I just want to do it at scale,
Sure.
do it
Absolutely.
tenfold. And yeah, and I think I definitely want to just um, be at the point where I can kind of, like I mentioned, take a step back and I can do other things. Like, I really want to be in a position where I'm promoting the business,
Mm-hmm.
versus working on the business.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. That was the very first hard lesson I learned was I was working on a car in a parking lot or in a driveway, and I was getting phone calls and inquiries, and I was standing next to a pressure washer and I couldn't hear them. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah. And then, I was like, one sec, can I call
Yeah.
you back? I'm in the middle of a job. And then you would lose
Yes.
it. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it, that was a hard lesson to learn. And,
Mm-hmm.
that was, why I was like, I think I'm going to need some help.
Mm-hmm.
The work's coming in and I'm not able to either
Yeah.
intake it, or I'm not able to
Yeah.
do it, or I'm
Well, the
booking people
demand is
out.
there, right? Like you're seeing the demand, and I often get asked, like our business owners, they'll often ask, when is the right time to hire? Or I don't know when it's the right time to hire, especially that first hire, which can be scary because you've been doing the work and you do it really well, and people
Hmm.
like you, and it's you, right? You are BTR,
Yep.
and so that moment of, it sounds like you had this moment where you're like, I've got the calls coming in, I've got the demand. Would you say it was at that time that did you hire another detailer first, or did you hire an admin, or what was your first official hire?
That's a great question. So I feel like I did it a little bit different than most. I actually hired my admin first. She was my very first hire, and the reason is I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by other business owners, and I had a mentor, and I said, I'm looking to hire. I feel like I can't handle this work, and they were like asking some questions that I just didn't know the answer
Yeah.
to at the time. They're like, well, what are you looking for? I was like, I don't know, help. Like,
Yeah.
not good answers,
Someone,
and someone,
anybody.
anyone, and they're like, no, you need to narrow it down. And then I was asked point blank, where's your weakness? And I go, honestly, I can actually tell you. It takes me 3 days to send an invoice. I'm missing scheduling people. I go, like, I'm missing, phone calls that are coming in because,
Back
like,
office
my,
kind of stuff. Yeah.
the back end. And I was just struggling with the back end. I was like, I'm a good detailer. People like my service. That's why I'm missing all this incoming service. And I go, I would love the help on the job, but I go, I'm just really falling short here in this area. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to identify that quickly. And then he basically turned to me after I explained that to him, and he goes, that should be your first hire.
There you go.
He goes,
Yep.
you're an admin. He goes, the whole conversation we just had about hiring help with you in the truck to help work on the job. He goes, no.
Yeah.
He goes, you can do that for a little longer. He goes, you got to hire, substitute your weakness, right? So that was it. And that was one of the biggest game changers for me. Because again, I was still able to do quality work, but we were able to take on more, even though I was only one man doing it, but we were still able to take on more because it was more organized and it was more efficient. And, I was able to get paid on time because I wasn't sending invoices a week later.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it was definitely a nice change of pace. And that was, I think, made it a lot easier going in to hire this, my second employee and who would help me in the truck and would help, be next to me.
Yeah. Because you have
And
somebody behind the scenes who's helping to run the show while you can train this new person and the systems and the way.
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great tip that, looking first at where are you acknowledging that you have weaknesses, right? Or you have your strengths, but there's also things that you just naturally don't enjoy or aren't good at. So that was a huge insight that I'm sure a lot of people are gonna get something out of. I appreciate that. And so, before we got on, we started talking about, hiring and things like that. So, what is next for the business as far as expansion or team, or what do you see as far as next for the business?
Yeah. So when it comes to like size of facility and staff, I always had, that was one of the goals I started with was, I wanted to do 3 trucks, 3 crews in 3 years. So a crew to me is 2 per truck, and I kind of substitute my shop as like 1.5 trucks. So, and we have another, and we already have 2 trucks. So we're kind of, almost to my goal anyways. And so now I just need to get the manpower and the staff to handle the facility size that we have. So that's always kind of that's kind of been, I don't know why I picked the 3 rule. That was just what I went for. And that's where it aligned. And I think we are implementing some other services. So we're looking at getting in the window tinting market and paint protection film and vinyl wrapping. And looking at doing some other, implementing these other services and utilize our facility that we have and, and our great service and experience that we have. So, give
You
that
already
to
have
more.
the market for it, right? It's like it's what else do people need and want and the experience that you guys have. So
Absolutely.
I hear the passion in what you do and how you do it. And I think that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that that's probably the reason why you have been able to grow the way that you've been able to grow, because your clients are seeing it, feeling it, they love the work that you do, but also that you have this passion, this vision, which is going to help find and keep the right people on your team that are going to continue to take care of your clients and get them to refer you and continue this business growing. So it's pretty cool to hear. And it's good, for those of you that are listening, having a vision like that, where it's, the rule of 3, whatever your vision is, it's, where you're going. And whether it's in your head or written down, right? You know where you're going, you know what it looks like, and then you figure out the how.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's exactly it. I have always been a man with a plan. I am a little, when it comes to like day by day stuff, I'm a little like, well, let's see what happens, a little
Yeah.
loosey goosey. But for the most part, long term, I've always had a plan. I always had dreams and visions. And, you can ask me 15 years ago or 15 years from now what I
Yeah.
plan on doing, I can tell you.
Yeah.
But with that being said, no idea how to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but my biggest thing, I've never feared just trying, just starting, never feared that. So that has probably, that I feel like has served me well, because, having a plan and then not having execution on it definitely hurt, is a hurdle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Me, it's like, I'm like, hey, I don't know how to achieve
Everything's
it just as
figure-outable.
much as the next
Yes.
person, but I'm going to try, I'm going to figure it out as I go. But I do have a plan. Will it change? Maybe, absolutely, probably will.
Yeah.
But I have that plan in place. I'm going to try to work towards it. It might come in a year, might come in 10, but that's have these goals, and I'm just going to, as long as I'm working towards it, that's always been my thing.
And the learning as you go.
Learning
Having
as I go.
advisory. It sounds like you had a mentor and advisory and reading and podcasts or whatever. Learning by doing.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yes. Well, thank you for sharing your story and some of those great tips and insights. How can people get a hold of you, or how can they come in and do business with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can check her out on our website, btrdetailingllc.com. Check us out on Instagram. It's same handle, at BTR Detailing LLC. Facebook, YouTube. Yeah,
Okay.
you can check us out.
All right, great. Well, thanks again for being here. And you heard it.
Absolutely.
Please, give them a shout out and make sure you give them a call. And we look forward to witnessing your journey. And 15 years from now, let's sit down again and be like, Bryan, you did it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
Let's go
goal.
celebrate. Awesome. Well,
of
thanks
course.
again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.